it was reported today by Jay Glazer that Brock Purdy had a second MRI that the Niners didn't tell us about. He had an MRI on Monday, revealed no structural damage. Took Wednesday off, went out Thursday, was supposed to be good, felt some tightness in his shoulder, shut himself down, didn't feel right. Had another MRI on Thursday. Once again, the MRI showed no structural damage. So what the Niners are saying is that they think he should be able to return next week for the game against Buffalo. But they also think he should have been able to play in this game against the Packers because their MRI showed no structural damage. So I don't think they're questioning Brock Purdy's toughness. I don't think they're saying that he's being a malingerer. But I do think what they're saying is his timeline is completely up to him. One day he'll come into the facility and say, guys, I feel better, I can play. Until then, they're just waiting and seeing because there's no diagnosis. They haven't even said what the injury really is. They've still called it just shoulder soreness, but he's had 2 MRIs and he could play against Buffalo. But the way I look at it is maybe he could play against Buffalo. Maybe he could have played in this game. Maybe his arm was 85% healthy. I don't know what the number is. Let's say it was 90% healthy, which I don't know. It could have been 40. But even if it was 90% healthy, the thing about Brock is that he doesn't have a strong arm when it's 100% healthy. So all of a sudden his arm is compromised and you give a guy who's floating the ball around the field, throwing changeups anyway, and now you've taken a bunch of velocity off of those throws. And now he's just got nothing on him. So I could see the 49ers feeling like, or Brock feeling like, you know what? He doesn't necessarily give the Niners the best chance to win if he doesn't have his full arm. I do understand that. So if he's 85%, I wouldn't play him next week against Buffalo. 1, he's not a good passer if his arm isn't healthy. 2, he could get hurt and make that a lot worse. And an injury which could, affect him for a couple weeks or a month could really get a lot worse, require surgery, and bleed into next year. Can't let that happen. He's too important. He's got too much at stake here. So Brock, be careful. Don't let the 49ers just throw you back out there. And then Niners, be realistic here. You know what his arm is. That's why you started Brandon Allen today. You want to see a quarterback with a stronger arm. Brock doesn't have that when he's healthy. And he's not healthy now. So if he plays next week with an 85% arm, it's going to look a lot like Seattle, except a better defense they'll be facing, and he'll be scrambling around a lot, taking hits. I don't like it. That's why the 49ers reportedly are interested in Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones recently released, going to clear waivers. Some team's going to sign him for like a $150. And apparently he wants to go to a winning team. He doesn't want to go start for some team like Dallas or the Raiders. He wants to go to a winning team and he'd be okay being a backup. I know you're thinking, who cares what Daniel Jones wants? He's terrible, which is fair. But is he worse than Brandon Allen? Is he worse than Joshua Dobbs? I'm not so sure, which is why the Niners are interested in him because they're not so sure either. So I think that'll be interesting. I think the Niners owe it to themselves to bring him in, talk to him. Because again, even if you throw Purdy back out there next week, you may not necessarily beat the Bills, and it may not be the best thing for him or the team. The best thing for the team might be to shut down Brock Purdy for the rest of the season or for a month. And the best thing for the team isn't to keep playing 32-year-old Brandon Allen with a broken finger. So something to keep in mind, something to monitor. Will the 49ers go out and get another quarterback? Possible. They've been linked to Daniel Jones.